welcome back to Equity Endowment for our weekly update for December 15th, 2023. I'm the founder of Equity Endowment, Executive Director. My name is Russell Fugit. If you didn't already know that, thanks for tuning in. Have some interesting news that just has been breaking in the last 24 hours or so. Navy Federal, which is one of the largest credit unions, actually is the largest credit union in America, has recently been reported, according to CNN and multiple outlets, that there's a serious discrimination, or rather serious disparities, let me get that correct, serious disparities in terms of mortgage lending. 48% of African Americans, when they apply, receive a loan for purchasing a home. 77% of white applicants receive a home. So again, there's a disparity there. The report clearly did not prove discrimination, but we have disparities in America, and we're very, very clear about that. I think that the evidence proves that out. The data proves that out, certainly as to where we are with our wealth gap. So of course we all know that discrimination plays a big part, and there's a lot of other historical things that play a big part in what's going on. And that really dovetails to one of the topics I want to get into today is why equity? Why do we call ourselves Equity Endowment? So of course, equity and the concept of equity really has to do, it's not the same as equality per se, but equity, justice, and fairness, right? And also the idea of equity in terms of ownership, right? As you know, we live in an ownership society. So the idea of being able to own an asset or a piece of an asset, right? And what that does for you as an individual, what that does for a community. And of course, here at Equity Endowment, we're creating a community asset in the form of an endowment, right? Really leaning on our values. We're going to be updating our website in the coming weeks when we come back in the new year. It's really going to mention our values. And one of those is truly about transparency, right? We want to have a community asset that everyone can leverage. Now we're going to grow businesses. We're going to inject money into the economy. We're going to do some really amazing things in this decade and beyond to, again, be one source of a solution for closing the wealth gap in this country, right? For bringing some more fairness and more equity, if you will, right? By creating an asset, right? So it's a little bit of a double meaning in terms of calling this Equity Endowment, right? And that also dovetails to the third point I really want to make today and to share in terms of what's motivating me and how I'm really thinking about this. And again, in our first video a couple weeks ago, I was really clear about how we need to change our mindset, right, around money. And I start by talking about myself and my own personal journey. Yes, I'm a fifth generation entrepreneur, fourth generation college graduate, have a tremendous legacy, but even myself, I've had to transform my own money around my concept around my personal finances, around my business finances. And so I've had some gaps I've had to identify and learn in order to grow, right? In order to grow my personal wealth, in order to grow my personal individual family's wealth, and be able to really leave a legacy for generations to come. So I'm just doing it privately. I'm doing privately what I'm also working to do publicly, right? We're going to go hand in hand together down this road and really want to get to the idea of the pie, right? And I've heard this spoken about in a couple places and recently online. And as someone who's a Christian, a person of faith, really understanding that, you know, the world, of course, was we read in the Bible, for those of you who are in the Bible, started with Adam and Eve in the garden, right? And so the idea of the pie, right? The idea of a zero-sum game. Now, if someone else gets something, that means someone else doesn't get something. And this idea around lack, and I know I spoke about that a few weeks ago. We're really not moving in that frame. We want to shift the paradigm. We want to shift the conversation on this and a number of other topics. But I think this one is really fundamental. We want to think more of the idea around an apple, right? The apple has seeds. And of course, the seeds from the apple can go into the ground and don't just create more apples, they create more trees, which create infinitely more apples. So the idea of how do we get more businesses into our economy is going to spur growth in the communities where all Americans and all people who visit our country are going to be able to benefit from stronger communities, from better healthcare, from better education, from better housing. So the idea of injecting money into our economy, into the hands of minority businesses, to communities that have traditionally been underserved, communities that have traditionally and historically been under-resourced, we're going to be able to grow the economy for everyone, right? We're going to be able to lessen the amount of lack that exists in our society. So that's going to stand to benefit all of us, benefit all of Americans. We're going to lower crime. We're going to have better health outcomes. We're going to have so many things that can come about, in our belief, from having stronger businesses, from having access to capital for people to be able to purchase homes, be able to finance their businesses, and be able to make wise investments. So that's really what the idea around Equity Endowment is really all about. And I really hope you will join us on this journey and contribute. There's just 2 weeks left in the year, and really would mean a lot to me and the people who've supported me to this point. If you could go to equityendowment.org, click the contribute button and make a donation. If you want to make a larger donation to avoid the transactions fees, please drop me a line. You can even DM at Equity Endowment or DM me personally at Russell Fugit. I believe my email address is actually on the website as well. I'd be happy to send you the paperwork. You can do that ACH wire transfer, and really are going to be making some really special announcements here. And I don't know if we're going to get it in before the end of the year, but certainly the beginning of the year. We're going to be making a couple grants, right? We're going to prove this model. We've been able to raise some money. Now we're going to give some away to support minority-owned businesses and the growth of minority businesses and minority entrepreneurship, right? And so we're going to prove this model, and we have some exciting partners I think are going to be a part of that coming up, and we're going to be having some conversations in a couple of different spaces as well. And of course, I will be sharing that in this space. So thanks for checking out this update for this week. Please follow along at Equity Endowment on Instagram, and also please visit our website to contribute and subscribe to our newsletter. We'll probably send another update there out before the end of the year as well. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in this space next week for the last time in this year with our weekly update. Take care. See you soon.
My late grandmother taught me that we live in an ownership society. And that's helped animate so much of my family's legacy. From my father, Gene Fugit Jr., my late uncle, Reginald F. Lewis, and so many others in my family who've been business owners, including myself. Having that fundamental understanding of America has driven us forward and allowed us to be active in finance, active in philanthropy, active in our community. And that idea, that understanding, the clarity of that vision has enabled us to be able to help be active in our community in so many unique ways.